Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Gear Talk. It's been a while since my last episode, but yeah, it was summer, the COVID restriction ended almost, so why to staying at home registering videos. And so now winter is coming and I'm getting back to the Gear Talk. So welcome to another episode, and this time I want to talk to you about the Pentax K2. Before we begin, as usual, a little message. If you want to support the channel, please subscribe, put a like, share with your friends. And if you want to go a little further, please check out my books, Photography, the F manual. It's a manual with all the basics about photography. Lasting Photographs is a very nice novel with very good reviews, and it's based on a photographic story, so that can be really enjoyable for a photographer. And Inkjet Fine Art Printing. This is a manual to understand what it means to print inkjet fine art and the tools and everything you need to know to do that. So if you want to support the channel, please do that, and also share this video with your friends. That is important for me to grow the number of followers. This said, the Pentax K2. Okay, this is the most absurd camera I ever had, and some people love it. I really cannot stand it. By the way, here you see that without the leather coverage, the leatherette, because I had to open it to fix the exposure meter, and still it's working, but not in the automatic mode. There's something wrong with this camera, but it's I don't even know if I want to spend the time to fix it. The Pentax K2 was it came out in 1975, and was when Pentax switched from the M42 lens mount, the screw mount with the Spotmatic, and switched on to the KM and K1000 and so on. So Pentax K2 was a very nice model. I mean, high level camera, and it's really strange camera. And when I say strange, it's because the most discussed part of the Pentax K2 is this very stupid ring here to select the ISO, and you have in parallel the compensation, exposure compensation, and the ISO ring, and there's a way to decouple them and move only the ISO or move only the compensation and so on. It really sucks. It's really not a nice position for the ISO rings, and so it's really not my kind of camera. So I cannot get over the position of this. It's something that for me make it kind of not usable. Probably if you get used to it, if all the camera was like that, probably not a problem, but I'm used with the ISO usually up here, so this ring really is not for me. This said, is still a very good camera. One thing that is really great is the luminosity of the viewfinder. It's really nice. It's really bright, and it's really wide, so it's really big in some way. The enlargement probably is really good. Another great thing about this camera is depth of field preview button here, and it's great, and the mirror lockup feature. These are two advanced features that you don't find on many cameras, so something that I really like. The shutter, it's the first Pentax with the vertical shutter, so it's really it's not a fast shutter because it's just from 8 seconds to 1/1000 of a second, but the synchro flash now is 1/25th of a second. Is not the normal 1/60th of a second that you find on other camera like the MX that has the horizontal shutter. horizontal curtain shutter. So it's kind of a good camera for these things. Button to check the batteries here, if you have the battery inside. Right now I don't have the batteries. And another thing that is really annoying are these two contacts for the flash, and usually the X and FP for lamps and electronic flash. But the position is really annoying. I'm used with the studio flash. I usually don't use little flashes on the camera. I don't like the effort, but with studio flash I use the cameras a lot, and to have the synchro here is really kind of annoying, because it's exactly where you can put your hands, move your hands. It's much easier when the synchro is this side, so you can just let the cable go down. So this is quite of another thing that is annoying about this camera. Other things, it's just really start the camera, nice camera. The exposure meter seems to be very precise, staying to other reviews. I still have to find a way to make it work. And this camera has an automatic mode, so you can open the aperture, you can select the aperture, and the camera will select the shutter speed. So it's really kind of a very nice camera. It's well built, it's very robust, and all these kind of things. But this part here, this ISO here, and the synchro of the flash here, that really makes me dislike this camera a lot. I really don't like this. It's not. It's just not right for my hands. And by the way, it's a pretty heavy camera. Also without the lens, it's quite heavy, and that can be, you know, on one side can be give you stability and all those kind of things. On the other side, I much prefer the M series, the MX or the LX, the X series, that are a little bit smaller and lighter. So this is what I think about the Pentax K2. By the way, the shutter is electronic, so you need a battery for the shutter, but you don't need the battery for the 1/25th of a second. So, and the sound is pretty loud, and but it's a nice sound. So obviously you have the self timer and all these kind of things that you find on the Pentaxes. In all my videos I always spoke greatly about almost all my Pentax cameras, and I really like Pentax, and usually I can find something great in every camera, something that made me think, okay, I can use this for some projects. But this one really is just for me. It's annoying with this ring here and the synchro flash and everything else, and is I think they probably at the time they tried to do something different to test the ergonomics of the camera. In my opinion, this was just a failure. So if you find one, first of all, check out, if you want one, you can find them pretty cheap online. So first of all, check that the ring here, the contacts are clean, and so the camera works. If not, you have to usually a little bit of oil can work, but usually it's not. So just you have to open the camera and clean the contacts inside. I did that. Still, there's something not working in the meter with the automatic exposure and all these kind of things. So that's the biggest problem of this camera, is that the contacts inside the ISO here are gone. And another thing is internally, really, when you open it, the mechanism to go from here to the exposure, it's really kind of complex. It's not that linear. So it's kind of always a mess to fix. It's not nice to open and repair as other cameras. If you get the Spotmatic, or if you get even a very complex camera like the Pentax LX, are kind of very nice inside. this, in my opinion, is not. So if you want one, check if it's working. If you find for a few bucks, it can be fun to go around and just try it. If you are like me, don't waste the money on this. There's much better things. And also something I don't like, that this camera doesn't have the little window to see the aperture in the viewfinder. And that is kind for me always annoying. I like to see the aperture without taking the camera out of my eyes. And by the way, this design makes it strange because this distance is sure the same distance as other camera, because the flange distance of the lens must be the same. But looking at it, seems kind of always the lens seems longer, and I don't know, I just dislike this camera. So, just my 2 cents, this camera, in my opinion, it's really unusable. Don't waste your money on it, unless you just want it for collection reason or this kind of things. The only things I got great with this camera is the 55 1.8mm. This is really a nice lens. I had some fun with it, and I will do a review of this lens in the future. So, thank you very much for watching. Again, as usual, please, if you want to support the channel, subscribe, put a like, share with your friends, and check out my books. Lasting Photographs, a novel based on photography, Photography, the F manual, all you need to know about photography, and Inject Fine Art Printing, that is my last book, and is about fine art inkjet printing, all you need to know to create fine art inkjet prints at your home. So, thank you very much for watching. See you next time.